The world will never be the same. Specifically starting today, there is a new astrological event happening where it is Neptune just moved into Aries for the first time in 164, 68, around there, 65 days, or years, sorry, years. So this doesn't happen often. It changes, I believe, every 14 years. And so Neptune is very much like the unseen. It is like the subconscious. It is, yeah, it's kind of like the energy running behind the scenes, like what we talk about a lot on this channel. And Aries is very different than Pisces. And so we are feeling this huge shift. And I think that, like, especially with what has been happening this last week, like the shift is very, very intense right now. So number one, I'm sorry if the audio is not great right now. I had a few comments on 2 videos ago about it. I will set up the mic in the next video, hopefully my new mic. It's just very echoey in these Portuguese houses. There's no insulation. These rugs are like not really rugs. They're kind of, I don't know what they're not soundproofing. And then I forget what the rest were that I was going to say. But also, if you're new here, because I've had some new people join in the past few days, these videos are typically like, they might seem kind of all over the place. There were 2 people that were like, just get to the point. And I don't know the point. That's the point. It's like, I know the first line, and then what comes out is a mixture of a channeled message and then like my thoughts with what is channeling through me and what has channeled through me in my own meditations or my own human experience. And I share these thoughts and these messages in these videos. My videos are never, I don't know that I've ever had a like very structured video where I'm like, in chapter 1, we're going to review this, 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 and this, and this. And that is just not me. That's not this channel. This channel is channeling, and it is open to the flow of whatever comes through. And oftentimes I have many people telling me that like it feels like I'm speaking directly to them. So you'll know if these messages are for you, and if they're not, love you and farewell on your journey. So anyway, the energy this week, it's like, it was so heavy. So heavy, like with everything going on in the US, and I'm not going to get into it. It's not, I don't feel called to get into the details of it. I feel called to really speak on another side of it, where it's like right now there is so much division, there is so much animosity, there is so much fear, there is so much of that. And while I think it is important to focus on like staying up to date and whatnot to the extent that you feel called to, I also think now more than ever, it is so important to stay in your sovereignty and to find your center in all of this. I put a little thing on my story yesterday of like a little sound bath that I had done just for myself really, but then I was like, I should probably share this because my intention behind it was calling in the highest truth. And I'm getting chills now thinking about it. It's like calling in the highest truth. And while I was playing and while I was, you know, moving through that process of just like the heaviness that was yesterday, really is when I was feeling it the most. It was, God, show me reality through your lens. Like, show me reality through the lens of God and allow me to see this in the highest truth. And so from that perspective and from this bird's eye, like what I can see right now is like a major shift in consciousness, a major shift in like just before all these events really, like, well, they were still going on. There was this solar storm a few days ago. And when I made the video on, sorry, my hair is like fried on the bottom here from when I was so blonde. And so we're just trying to ignore that. And so the solar storm, when I had made that video about like the flash, the great flash that is happening, and it's like an internal thing really, like we're all having this light shone on the darkness within. And it's like once the shadows are exposed with the light just for a second, like there's no more going back. Like that is that is how we set ourselves free. And so we were talking a lot about somatic stuff in there and like bringing things into your attention. And I'd written a Substack on this recently where it's like, in order to really start rewiring the mind, like if we're just talking about the mind and the subconscious, first the thought has to be brought into awareness. And your awareness is your truth. Your awareness is your light. Your awareness is, you know, is what has the highest truth, what is the lens of God. Like in your awareness, that is the lens of God. When you are not attached, also big storm still, it's been like going on for a week here. And so when you're not attached to all the emotions and what your thoughts are telling you in response to your emotions, when you can also find that place of observing everything, you start seeing through the lens of God there. So that ties into what's happening right now in this big collective shift of moving into this new energy here on Earth, this like Aries energy. And it's like we're seeing through bullshit. Like that is the best way that I can put it, is that we are seeing so much through bullshit. And I've had that experience so much recently where I was kind of like, why am I feeling like this? Like, this is so strange. Because typically before I went on this journey of traveling Europe and whatnot, and like living in Italy and living on the horse farm and doing van life and all that, when I was living in California, I loved, and I still do, but like loved the yoga community, loved like this like really spiritual kind of scene and whatnot. I still kind of saw through some of the distortions of truth in those, but now more than ever, I just feel such a resistance to really even getting involved in a lot of that here, because I just feel like the ego, I know that the ego gets so attached to spiritual identity. Like the ego will find anything, like no matter what you're doing or focusing on or thinking about, the ego will always try and find its way into that to like make it your identity, to trap you in that box of it, to make your worth about it. And so when there's spiritual communities, it's like a lot of people with good intention, they get lost in that. And I feel like there still is that like hierarchy, and then there becomes this higher purpose, and oftentimes it turns into a cult. And I really try and avoid cults. It's usually my go-to. And so the shift that we're having right now with Neptune, a lot of it is like no longer seeing others as the guru and starting to feel your own authentic power, your own authentic truth, and that you are your own guru. And so that awareness that you have within you, that lens of God that you have within you at all times, that is your guru. That has the answers to everything. I've really been focusing as well on intuition, and I just love these Sarah J. Maas books, but the one that I'm in right now, there's a sword in it, and if the king touches it, it warms for truth and it gets cold for lie. So whenever somebody is talking, he'll put his hand on it and it will tell him yes or no. You have that within you too. And we've been so conditioned to think that that is woo-woo, and I know most of you watching this don't think that, but even still, like for myself as well, there's still that conditioning that is like, well, can I really? And of course you can. And so there's different ways that you can. Before I used to do like the pendulum thing, and it would go back and forth for yes and circle for no, or whichever I would set it to, or the flame. And then those stopped working for me. Like it would just be straight, like it would just hang straight, it wouldn't move. Like you can have like a necklace or something with like weight on it, and it wasn't moving. And then my guides were like, you're meant to go more inwards. And then I tried muscle testing, and I've always had a very hard time muscle testing on myself, but you can have a lot of success with that. I have a lot of friends who will use that to decide like how much of each supplement to take each day, which supplement to take each day, what food to eat, and whatnot. So you can go very far in that. My program, 21 Days to Know Your Divine Guidance, that teaches you about going into your heart space. So before I came to Europe, that's when I really started developing that. It's almost like a muscle. And so I would go into my heart space and I would ask these questions. And I've started getting really familiar on what yes feels like and what no feels like. And like I started getting really clear on like one of my gifts is to be very visual. That's how I receive divine guidance. Others will hear, some will sense, some like it's different. And we cover that in 21 days to know your divine guidance as well. But I started to really trust that. And I think that that is really important for right now. I want to find the right words for this. So it's like with what's happening in the world, I still feel, and I've talked about this quite a bit on my channel. I was talking about it more like when I was in Ireland, but like the next few years, I think there are going to be a lot of worldly things where, you know, there's this service to self entity energy that is like infiltrated in collectives here that will really try and continue this mission of enslavement of others and of like maintaining their power and their control through different methods. And a lot of that can be psychological. And so it can be tricky to navigate when it's happening at such a collective level. I think a lot of you are getting very strong and confident in understanding when like one-on-one with somebody, if you're talking with talking with a narcissist, you can start to see how they have, is it ulterior? I'm having a hard time speaking today. Ulterior methods, motives. Oh my gosh, motives. They have motives that are not for the highest good of all. And so I can't say it. Yeah, I'm like, please let me say it. And so they want to control you. They want to use you. They want something from you. You're probably pretty good at this point of seeing that when it happens and catching those red flags and knowing when that is happening. Your intuition is so strong as well for when that is happening in worldly stuff, for when that is happening in, you know, in what is being said in the media and what is being done and whatnot. And there's no need to fear any of this stuff. I don't ever want to invoke fear, because fear is when you start to become more controllable. I think that where we're headed right now is you are becoming your own guru. You don't have to look outside of yourself for power or for answers. And with where we're headed, that will be the most important thing that you can strengthen. I don't think that it's like a doomed thing that we're headed towards. I think that because so many of us are waking up on Earth, the more that this like service to self energy that is within so many here on Earth tries to get control, the more that others start to wake up. So it's like when these horrible, horrific things are happening on Earth, it shakes us up and a pattern disrupts. And when you get a pattern disrupt, you immediately have this moment of light, typically, where you're brought back to the present moment. You're brought back to your awareness. You're brought back to the lens of God. And in that single moment of being in that light shines on the darkness and you see clearly. It's why during the pandemic, so many people started waking up to what matters to them, to what their passions are, to what their hobbies are. And like, it changed the world forever. And so when these horrible things happen on Earth that are really uncomfortable and really sad and really scary and all these things, it typically leads to a better world. And it's unfortunate that chaos has to happen sometimes in order for this to happen at a collective rate. But that seems to be the natural progression. It's the same thing with like a wildfire. You know, a wildfire, it happens, it takes over, it ends things, it burns things, it's sad, it's scary, it's ferocious. But at the end, new life begins. And so you are divinely guided, you are divinely protected. You have all the answers within you. You have all that you need to move through this time of the chaos within the collective. And over the next few years, we probably will see a lot of that polarity, a lot of that like confusion of the individual, of the collective. And if you're here right now and you've made it to this, you are what I feel to be true. You are meant to be a beacon of light in this. You are meant to be a leader in this. You're meant to be a pioneer in this, to show the way. And you don't show the way by doing more and being better and being more enlightened than others and being the guru. You do it by being in your truth. You do it by being in your authenticity. And just by emitting that frequency, you illuminate the way for others. And that is a really important role that you have. And so over the last few weeks, especially if you've been feeling kind of like, what am I doing here? What is my role in this? Like, who even am I? If you're feeling like that, that is so normal right now, because you are waking up to who you came to earth to be. And that means accepting that you are no longer who you were, and that you might not recognize yourself for a while. It's kind of like, almost like being an alien in this body form. Hold on, let me get touches. Apologies. All of my animals are obsessed with the trash. So it's a constant thing of managing who's in the kitchen. So anyway, you have everything that you need. Seeing that meme of, it's a dog, and everything's on fire behind him, and he's like, this is fine. That's you. That's us. And we will navigate our way out. And yeah, it's really, I think there's a lot of freedom in remembering that it's not something that you have to do right now. The most productive thing that you can do is rest, is find your center, is regulate in all of this. And so your mind might tell you that doing that meditation or doing that breath work or doing that brain retraining, you know, is selfish right now, or like you just don't want to do it, you're too tired to do it. But I think that it is the most productive thing that you can do for yourself and for others, is being in your authenticity, remembering your truth, finding your truth. I always say, like, when it comes to brain retraining and meditation, and or brain retraining and like trying to have this creative flow, and to meditate, is like, it should be in that order: brain retraining, nervous system regulation, and then meditation. So often, so many people try and do like mindful meditation, but their nervous system is dysregulated. And so that can almost be more dysregulating, because you're like, monkey brain, shut the fuck up. And like really looking at your nervous system. And it's very dysregulating going into everything that's going on right now, and all the energy and whatnot. Like yesterday, like I was saying, I was feeling so impacted energetically from everything, from the solar storm, from the energy shift that we're going through, from the worldly things that are happening. And I was just like, how do I navigate? And also having those thoughts of like, who am I? Like, why do I feel like this alien in my body? And then today I woke up and I felt very much different. I felt that shift, that Neptune shift into Aries. I'm also in Aries. And so it just felt like I remembered. And maybe you feel that too. And if you don't, maybe you will feel that soon, where you just remember and you feel centered and your vision for the future is strong and you feel empowered and you remember that you are the guru and you have all the answers and that you don't have to look outside of yourself. And so like what I was saying with the YouTube or with the yoga classes, is like, there's a lot of that, like giving power over to others and like kind of losing yourself into like this collective idea, these collective beliefs, rather than not just yoga communities, but certain communities. And it's like, rather than just asking yourself, what do you feel? Like not reacting emotionally, but like asking yourself, what is the truth here? And trusting yourself on that, and trusting when you get the yes or the no, and being okay with that, even if others don't understand that, or others make that out to be something that it's not. You know. And you can hold that sacred and close to your heart, and you don't have to ever explain yourself. You don't have to dysregulate in order to bond with others. You get to be the light for others by staying in your center and staying in your light. So, and in that, this is the last part of that. And in that, when you do that, this contact starts to come through louder than ever. I think a lot of that is happening right now. A lot of downloads, a lot of channeling, a lot of, that's what I was kind of saying about the creative flow. It's like regulation, meditation, and then that creative flow happens, the downloads happen. It's like for me, ever since getting here to Portugal, I've really been focusing on regulation, like getting back into society, like having a bath almost every night, and like just a hot shower, like so soothing to my body, even though the hot water is kind of triggering right now for my mast cells, and like focusing on a low histamine diet, and like really taking this mast cell activation syndrome that I was diagnosed with when I had Lyme a long time ago, and like really looking at it and like digging deeper to heal it for good. I got it to like a good place to travel the world, but then I realized like I can go deeper in it. So now, you know, I've been removing the excess histamine, which is also helping my nervous system regulate. So I've been in a deep place of like feeling tired, but feeling relaxed, and like my body is finally catching up on rest that I was probably lacking a lot when I was living on the farm in Italy, because it was a beautiful experience of chaos and like nonstop problem solving. And so now when I go to the beach, it's like these divine downloads are coming through so clear again, which I wasn't able, and I noticed this very clearly, and I talked about it with my therapist often in Italy. I was just feeling like I could not get downloads from the divine in the way that I had before. Like it would happen in my videos often, but it wasn't like this open line of communication that I had like in Switzerland right before I went to the farm, or like a few months before. In Switzerland, I was doing the same thing that I'm doing right now, where it's like new to a foreign country, taking a bath, relaxing, going on long walks, and that's where I started my YouTube channel, and like really clearly getting downloads. So I'm back to that place, which is very nice. And whenever I go on my long walks, or like I intentionally tap in and I go to the beach, these messages are coming through. Like I shared in the other video the other day of like, there's a, like I don't remember the exact words right now, but it's like this like force beneath the surface that is rising to meet you and to awaken consciousness on earth and to shift earth forever. And like these really significant, clear messages that have been coming through. That's also where like the flash started coming through and the confirmations of that. And so these messages, your contact with the divine, with your starseed origin, like your where you came from, who you're connected with, your divine team, like those who are here to support you in your human mission, that communication opens up so much when you choose this path. So, I love you so much. If you want to join any of my programs, they are linked below. I mentioned 21 Days to Know Your Divine Guidance. I think that's a powerful one right now. Also, Dream Life Sleep Hypnosis, where you use your own voice to program in your dream life while you're sleeping. And it unravels those subconscious blocks that are in the way, because it meets your subconscious while you're sleeping with the frequency of your own voice. And then your subconscious is like, no, this is my block. And it will show you in your dreams or in your beliefs in the following days of like why that hasn't come into your manifestation yet. And then you start unraveling it. Super freaking powerful. So I've never had so much positive feedback, like just so much feedback in general from a program that I have with this one. So I invite you to join that. Nove is my app that I'm designing right now, which will support the method and allow you to go deeper and deeper and deeper into this process method of reprogramming your subconscious mind with your own voice. So that will launch very soon, and I'm so excited to announce that to you guys as well. And I think that is all. So I will see you guys in the next video. If you want to support this channel, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. I really appreciate that. You guys have been doing that recently because my videos were not showing up for people. And now the more that you're doing that, I am getting feedback that they are showing up. People are messaging me saying, I haven't seen your videos in so long. It just came up and blah, blah, blah. And I was just thinking. And so thank you. If you want to hype this video, that means a lot. And I think that helps extra with the algorithm. And if you want to leave a comment, that also means a lot to me. I read every single comment. If you don't know what to say, you want to say something, you can leave a wolf emoji. Love wolves. Wolf energy is very significant here. And that is all that I have for you. I will see you in the next video. Bye.